I am going to share with you my personal view on design. And this view on design is a very personal vision. It's not something you can read in the books, or I don't come up with diagrams or graphics or whatever. It's just following my intuition. And this personal vision shaped my 20 years of Droog design. Design is products. Most people think design is products. Beautiful products, stylish products, expensive products maybe, but products. And it's exactly what we are doing. We are designing products. Our studio is continuously working on products, and we sell them in our store, on our website, and we distribute them all over the world. And we present them every year in Milan during the International Furniture Fair. So products. But there can be much more. Products represent the beginning of a process. Products represent the end of a process. Equally important is the beginning of the process. Equally important is context, situation, relevance. And this is a project we did in 2009. We started this project in 2009. At that moment, the economic crisis in our country started. And I read in a newspaper that 500 companies went bankrupt each month. And it's still going on, they still do. It's still 500 companies each month going bankrupt. But at that time, that was for the first time, and I was thinking, what is happening with all those inventory? What is happening with all those products? And I discovered a lot of liquidation auctions on the internet, and I started bidding. And so I acquired 5,115 items, all kinds of very simple stuff. Matchboxes, chairs, cups, whatever. All small quantities. And I asked designers to redesign them. And so they did. We presented them in Milan during the furniture fair. And here you see a simple mirror, and the designer sticked a kind of foil on it, and it became a very precious piece. And it was sold out immediately. One chair became 2 chairs, and it became a bench. And a simple basket became a trolley for dogs when they are sick. So when they have broken their leg, you can carry them, a kind of wheelchair for dogs. And here you see the work of Marije Vogelsang, who is speaking tomorrow. And what she did, she got wooden spoons and she dipped them in silicone. And that was also a bestseller. And here there are simple pots, and we created a soft skin around them and made all kinds of arrangements, and suddenly it became high design. So in a simple way, you can upgrade simple products. And after this I could only buy small lots, so and which made the products expensive. So I thought I have to go to bigger quantities. And how can I do that? And the only way to do that is to collaborate with companies. And I made contact with a company who is destroying dead stock in our country. And he told me that every day they destroy tons of items that cannot be sold. Either the company had too big eyes and produced too many of them, or they run out of fashion, or they had misfits. And so there were my big quantities. And so we created the project UP, because we really wanted to collaborate with these companies to upgrade their dead stock. A simple tray became a suitcase, very fashionable suitcase, or it became a tray on wheels. Floor covering became shoes. And this is medical appliances. There was also a company from Helsinki specialized in medical appliances who collaborated with us. And here you see what you can find in the hospital, and suddenly it becomes a toy. And we saw this up as an economic model. We wanted to redesign these products and to bring them back into circulation. And for us, or for me, if you are wasting products, if you are destroying products, or even if you are recycling them, it means downcycling, because the quality goes back. And for me, I think it's better to upcycle them, so make them more attractive. So that was our economic model. But I see it also as a design method. Normally, when you start to design, you design from scratch. You have to make drawings, prototypes. And here, the product is already there. So you don't have to make sketches. You just have the product in your hand, and you feel it, and you touch it, and you let your brain work. And this was happening with these designers. They love to do it. And here you see the first product on the market. And it's cups produced by a company who is specialized in mass production of cups for hotels and restaurants. And she printed all kinds of sentences on it. And if you turn the cup, here it says the face in truth, but if you turn the cup, it says maybe the illusion of truth, or it says the face of freedom. So there's always a conversation piece, and I always say the cup is talking to the saucer. So this is it's more expensive than the original one, but again, it was it's a bestseller. And here you see our economic model, and it's an ongoing project. We are talking with companies and see how we can redesign their dead stock. So there is context, situation, relevance, but up means also respect for the existing. And if you talk about context, situation, or relevance, in up you think of products. But this can also happen if you look at networks or or infrastructures. Respect for the existing, or being inspired by the existing. So we went to the Ravi in 2011, and this was because I had been there a year before. And when I visited the Ravi, I was impressed by this economic activity. And there was such a strong economic entrepreneurship, self-created entrepreneurship. And I was inspired by that. So our team went in 2011 to the Ravi for a week. And they connected to all those little small producers. And we came with an abstract drawing and asked them to produce it. And what struck us, that they were so fast, and they were so flexible, and they were so well connected. And that was something we found very interesting. And with some of those producers, we still have contact. It ended up with a debate in Studio X, and well, that made it a very interesting event, also to debate about this thing. And we went to New York, and in New York you have another kind of entrepreneurial activity. And I went to New York for I was there quite a few times because we had a store over there. The store is closed down now, but when we had this store, I was there quite often. And I saw all these people walking with dogs on the street. And I was thinking, how many dogs those New Yorkers have? if you live on the 60th floor of 25th Street? How can you do that? And then I realized that it was dog walkers, that it was a self-created job walking with the dogs. And I found that again very inspiring. And because I soon discovered all kinds of entrepreneurial activity in New York. And they all ask $100 per hour. And this guy is interesting because when you buy a new sofa and it doesn't fit through the door, then he takes it apart for you and brings it up and takes it together again in your house. It's quite creative. So we thought, okay, what can we do with this? And I asked the architects Diller, Scofidio, and Renfro to lead a project for us in New York. And they said, no, we are not going to New York, we are going to Levittown. And Levittown is a suburb 20 miles west from New York. And it's a very drowsy suburb. And you see very wide lanes. There is no economic activity at all. And all the houses look about the same. So when we were driving there, every time we were lost because everything looks the same. And the idea was, this was the name of the project, Open House, and we asked residents to open their house and to create a business in their house for one day. So we said, discover your inner service provider. And so they did. So this lady is an unemployed school teacher. And she wanted to create a school for one day in her house. And in this school, she taught her hobbies. And you could get a diploma. And this is outside her house, private school 72, which was her house number. And we created all kinds of slogans. And this is an 84-year lady, and she's living alone. And we created for her an attention clinic. And for $100 per hour, you could get a hug, or you could tell her a secret, or whatever. And this lady was very shy, and she was not sure if she wanted this. And we could convince her to do it. So here's the waiting room, her living room. and when she did do this, I was also a patient, a client or patient, how do you, and she started to tell me her secrets. That she had been jealous of her sister when she was young. And so it was therapy for her. And here is the hug. And she sent us an email afterwards that she had such a great time. This is an older couple, and the shops in Levittown are far away, and they can't do the shopping anymore. So their idea was that the neighbors buy the stuff, and they leave it in those holes, and then they cook. Well, you leave you leave the ingredients in one side of the house, and then they cook, and then later at the day you can take it out and you have your meal. So that was their kind of business. And these people wanted to create a museum in their house. And the only thing they did was the ropes. And a museum shop. So neighbors are not just friends, they are your clients. And this guy was very clever. He said, if all my neighbors are going to invent businesses, I'm going to make the signs. So it was not our idea to implement this model in the area. It was not possible because it's so over-regulated. And this area is not meant for economic activity. So, because of the regulations. And, but it was only to show how a future suburbia could look like. It was also to show how you can change a suburbia, which is not so interesting, because here you see again how it is. But if you create all kinds of extensions, so the yellow parts are extensions for doing your business, then suddenly the neighborhood gets more density and suddenly there is much more variation. Dog sitting, an art gallery, a library, bedside stories, or a love hotel with 2 entrances. So those ideas were really to generate a discussion. And there came a discussion, big discussions. The New York Times started a discussion. And the discussion was not so much about what we wanted to do, but it was again about regulations. This is not possible, blah, blah, blah. So coming back from New York, I thought, okay, we have to repeat this project because it was very successful. And we go to a neighborhood in the Netherlands. And a neighborhood, with this Levittown is lower middle class white neighborhood. And we wanted to go to a multicultural neighborhood. And we found one in Rotterdam, in Tarwewijk. And it's the most, this poorest neighborhood of Rotterdam. And the people, there's a high amount of illiteracy, people are unemployed, so it has a lot of problems. And you can see it's a very drowsy, sleepy neighborhood. It's very dull. But the difference is that behind those facades, there is a lot of entrepreneurial activity. And there is a lot of self-created jobs. So the model was already there. It was only not visible. So I thought, okay, then we create a one-day event on the street. So they can do their business, whatever they want to do on the street, and we draw attention to what's happening there. And so we did. So these were the drawings we presented to the residents, but they threw us out. They said, go away, you architects and designers, we don't want to see you. Because what we didn't know, that this neighborhood, this area, because of these problems, they were so attractive. They had been so attractive for all kinds of designers, architects, artists. They all wanted to do temporary events. But there was nothing changed in a structural way. So when we came, we were the 20th or the 30th or maybe the 100th who came there with a nice project. So this is what they said. Can you read this? Maybe you should talk to somebody important so that when you leave, this person could take over your job. Sorry, but we don't trust you, architects. You take our ideas, use it elsewhere, and then you are gone. So they were very frustrated about all these projects. And first it was a shock. I thought, oh, goodness, what have I done? And then I thought, okay, they are right. We are coming there, we are doing a project, and we like it, and there's pictures in magazines everywhere, and they are still there. No, nothing changes. So we came back, and we had a meeting with them, and the first thing they said, you are the first designers who come back. So that was already a compliment. And then they said, we know what has to be changed in this neighborhood. So let us do it. And I said, okay, I give you money, and you do a research, a survey in the neighborhood, and tell us what we have to do, and then we go to the authorities, and we will see. And when they had their report finished, I was disappointed, because the only thing they wanted was a space for the kids to hang out. There was no creative, nothing creative. So, of course, we are going to talk with the authorities, but I had hoped that there was also a kind of creativity from these people. So design for me is products, of course, context, situation, relevance, and respect for the existing. For existing situations and existing products. But there is more. For me, design is a serious matter, but it's always a serious matter with a twist. I heard you laughing, and you were laughing about the twist. So I always want to connect seriousness with playfulness, with lightness. So this doorbell has respect for the existing. So it's what glasses do. They make a sound. So if you place the hammer in between those two glasses and the hammer goes from left to right, you hear ding dong. And that's what a doorbell does. So it's a very funny product, but it's also very serious, because when you push the button on the door, you hear ding dong, but you don't know how it works. You don't see anything. And this project wanted to give more transparency to design, that you can see why it's making this sound. So the tree trunk bench, this is to show that you can easily sit on a fallen tree. You only need to make bags. And what he does here is bringing different worlds together. Classic, antique bags, chair bags, and a fallen tree. So the twist is in the fact that there are two different worlds brought together. But again, it's serious, because you don't need a bench to sit on. You can sit everywhere. This is a bench covered with marbles, and when you go sit on the seats, then you slide and you touch your neighbors. And this is in our shop, and everyone who is going to sit on it is laughing out and has fun, because it's so funny to sit there and to have fun with all those people. And that's exactly what the bench wants to do, making contact with each other. So for me, it's the ideal product in a waiting room for the doctor or the dentist. And this is the garden, this is the fairy tale garden. And you can see it looks like a fairy tale with a big mushroom. And it has a lot of artificial elements in it. So everyone who sees the garden thinks, oh, photos and nice and beautiful, funny. But it's a little ecosystem. So the flowers are there to feed the birds and to give them water. And the mushroom is there to attract the insects. And the things that are hanging there are for nestling, the birds that they are nestling. So it's a really serious thing, but it has a big twist. And this is our fish tank. And you can see the furniture is inside the fish tank. And now you think this is a gimmick, but it's not, because it has been part of a project we did in China. And China is known as a copycat, and China wants to get rid of their image. They want to be original, and that's why they are inviting us. How do you do this? How can you be original? What's the process? And I think that the copy is in their tradition, copying. And they just have to creatively copying. It's the only thing they have to do. So we did this project together with Chinese designers and Chinese partner. And it's now on show in Guangzhou, in a big shopping mall. And the twist is also always present in our projects. This is Hotel Droog. We did in 2002 in Milan. And I went to Milan. I wanted to rent the most ugly, dreadful hotel I could find. And the guy who was offering hotel spaces, and I didn't like anything what he offered me. And then he said, I have only one space, but I don't want to show you because it's so dirty. And I said, show me. And this was it. A 1 star, but I think they didn't have any stars. And I asked designers to come up with 1 item. That's all. Dit was the gym. The massage room. To bulk on a dirty floor. And here you can personalize your room because the hanger is, you can hang your shirt over the hanger. And this was the audience waiting to get in. And here it was a lot of fun and everyone liked it. But the idea behind it was that you can create so much experience with very few means. And that was the whole idea. And here another project which we treated in a very light way. And this is a project we did in Belgium, our neighbor country. And Belgium doesn't have a strong national identity. And I can say that because we did the project together with Belgian partners and Belgian designers. At first they were a little bit hesitating, but in the end they were convinced there's no strong national identity. And I thought that is an advantage. So you avoid a lot of problems. And because when we went to Belgium and did some investigation, we noticed that there's a lot of identities in Belgium. Thousands of identities, and that's their identity. So we created Identity Land, an imaginary society with no national borders. This is a manifesto we wrote. Space for 1 million different identities. And we designed some symbols and tokens for them, for this society, and a transparent flag. And the coin is a mirrored surface, so no emperor or king or whatever, but you see yourself in the coin. And here, those were kind of top-down elements, but here it's quite bottom-up. You can then donate a piece of land to create Identity Land in reality. So we asked the whole world to donate 1 square meter to Identity Land, and so you can create Identity Land together. And here I found one from India, and it was a funny guy. He donated his cap, 1 square meter of his cap. So you're all invited to donate some place if you go to this website. So design is a serious matter with a twist. And why I want to do this is because this engaged people. And it makes people happy. And I think design can also be entertainment. Why not? So this is the reward. All kinds of happy experiences. So in the beginning I said the best of 4 worlds. And for me design is the best of 4 worlds. Beautiful products, context, situation, relevance, respect for the existing, and last but not least, the twist. And this is the DNA of Droog, but it's also my way of life. It's how I am. I like the unexpected. I like to turn things upside down. I like the unplanned. We decided 1 month ago to go to Milan next month. So it's always unplanned, always just be inspired by something and just doing it. And this is our latest project in Amsterdam. And we created Hotel Droog. And Hotel Droog is everything what a hotel nowadays has to offer. So there is a shop, there are shops, a fashion shop, all kinds of shops, a grooming space, a gallery, a cafe, restaurant. And here you can see everything we do. This cafe has been furnished with our own leftovers from exhibitions, from projects, and second-hand furniture, and new stuff. And in the evening, we organize debates and lectures. So there is the serious part. And then there is the twist, the garden with all the artificial elements. Even the grass is artificial. And there is one bedroom, the one and only bedroom. And then this was opened in September by the director of the Rijksmuseum. And he ended his speech with the words, "The grass is no grass, the hotel is not a hotel. For sure, we are a Droog." Thank you.